I've always been fascinated and amazed by jugglers. The ability to throw a bunch of things in the air and keep them so coordinated that they are always in motion. I spent hours in my youth trying to juggle things. Baseballs, tennis balls, oranges, which admittedly were not so appetizing when I was done with them. I got to where I could juggle 3 things pretty well, but I couldn't get over the hump to juggle 4 or more. At least, not until I joined the workforce. When I got there, it just seemed like the norm. Everyone was into the juggling act. In fact, the people who were the busiest, the ones throwing as many balls into the air as possible and then scurrying to keep up, were the ones idolized by their peers. Attending meetings, mornings and afternoons, throwing out emails left and right, working through lunch, late hours, and the weekend just to keep it all going, those were the real professional jugglers. And it was easier to emulate the workplace multitaskers than real juggling. You just say yes to everything. You grab as many tasks as you can and try to keep them in the air. It looks great, that is, until you try it yourself. We're really not as good at workplace juggling as we let on. In fact, I think once we get past 2 or 3 activities, about the same amount of balls that I could juggle, we find that it gets pretty precarious. And at that point, we're not just juggling tennis balls. We now find ourselves like a bull in an expensive china shop. We are desperately trying to keep everything balanced until the inevitable crash. You see, there are some issues with workplace juggling, which we call multitasking because it sounds like we're really accomplishing something special. First of all, not all of the activities that we are juggling are the same size and value. You could have 10 activities that you are juggling, but maybe one is extremely valuable, like a crystal vase, and one is very dangerous, like trying to juggle a chainsaw. But when you are in the middle of juggling all those activities, it's difficult to focus on the ones that are the most important. Second, you can't drop anything. You could still have 9 other balls in the air, but even if you do, I'm now focused on the one on the ground. If you're juggling things that can break, then it's hard for people to not focus on the broken one laying on the ground. And who's going to clean it up while you still have other things to juggle? The third point is that you only have 2 hands, which means that the more you toss in the air, the less time you spend on any one activity. And is that what you really want? To spend the minimum amount of time on something? Generally, while it doesn't look quite as impressive, focusing on one thing at a time means that you take much better care of that one thing. The warning I want to leave you with is that while it can look impressive to see someone juggling a lot of activities, it's not necessarily productive or really going to help you create something meaningful. In fact, once you get started, it's really hard to quit. So let's save the juggling for the clowns. For more information on how to juggle priorities, go to courses.idocommunications.com.